So good day to you all. Today's work is going to be on completing the square method of solving quadratic equation. As you all know, quadratic equations has one single variable with double values, that is with two values, and the variable will have a highest power of 2. That highest power of 2 is what makes it quadratic looks, and equal to 0 make it an equation. An equation can be an equation, as you know, only when it has equality sign, whether subject to 0 or not. But that is a quadratic equation with highest power of 2. Now, there are ways of solving quadratic equation. Number one, we have factorization method. Then we have completing the square method. Then we have quadratic formula, using quadratic formula to solve and find the respective roots or the variable, the values of the variable. Or you should use graphical method. Precisely, I think we have like 4 methods of solving quadratic equation. In as much of a quadratic equation is, those ways are very essential for one to use and solve or find the root of the variable. Now, without wasting time, we are going to talk about how an equation can be solved using completing the square method. So as an example, which is x squared plus 2x plus 2 equals to 0, can be solved using some steps. The first step one can look into is just the coefficient of the highest power of the variable, which is x squared. Now x squared has only unity coefficient, or a coefficient of 1. Since the coefficient of x squared is 1, then first step will be skipped up because it has no coefficient above 1. Assuming the coefficient of x squared is 2, like this, that means all the equation will be divided by 2 everywhere. So since our equation has no coefficient, or the coefficient of our equation is just 1, therefore we are not going to take the step number 1. What we are going to do is to just skip the step number 1 and take the step number 2. That is the second step. The second step will be like, that is the second step. We'll now take this constant term of the quadratic equation to the other side, where we are going to have x squared plus 2x will be equals to -1 or -1. Now in the third step, that is step number 3. Third step. In the third step, that is step number 3, we are going to take the coefficient of the middle term. The coefficient of the middle term is just 2. Now this 2 will be taken, divided by 2. The answer is just 1. Now this one that you have gotten as the coefficient, square it. What you will do is to remove the middle term of the quadratic equation, add the result you get after dividing the coefficient of the middle term to the side. So what we're going to have is just x squared plus bracket 1 square then equals to -1 plus 1 square. So what we are going to have next is just factor out the powers of the two, which is x squared and 1 square. We are going to have x plus 1 then square equals to -1. Now -1 and 1 square will just be +1, because 1 square is just 1. So what we're going to have is just x plus 1 all in bracket square equals to -1 positive 1 is just 0. Now what you do is just to share the square root for both sides. This goes with this. What we have is just x plus 1 equals to plus or minus 0, because square root of 0, everyone knows, is just 0. So what we're going to have is just x to be equals to that is collecting this to the other side of the equation, where we introduce this equal sign immediately after x. We now have -1 plus or minus 0. Automatically we have x to be either -1 plus 0 or x to be -1 minus 0. So if this one happens to be the case, we are going to have x to be equals to -1 plus 0 is just -1. And if this happens to be the case to be considered, what we're going to have is just x to be equals to -1, and that is -1 also. So since we have -1 everywhere, therefore our x will be equals to -1 twice. -1 twice. That is, the value of the unknown will just be -1 everywhere. So